Hello friends and welcome. Today I am going to deliver lecture on Principles of Transcriptional Regulation, Regulation at Initiation with examples from lag and tryptophan operons. Let us first try to have a look at the main objectives of today's deliberation. Number 1. To describe the operon model of gene regulation. Number 2. To understand the mechanism of transcriptional regulation. Number 3. To understand positive and negative regulation, inducible and repressible systems. Number 4. To describe the regulation of lag and tryptophan operons. Now we will start with the brief idea about transcription. Gene is the segment of DNA that controls all traits of organism that may be physical or metabolical. The information encoded in DNA is transcribed into RNA and then translated into proteins. The ability of cell to switch the genes on and off is of fundamental importance because it enables the cell to respond to the changing environment, and it is the basis of cell differentiation. So we can say that gene regulation is a process in which a cell determines which genes it will express and when. Regulation of gene expression includes a wide range of mechanisms that are used by the cell to increase or decrease the production of specific gene products, that is protein or RNA. Transcription is a process where a gene's DNA sequence is copied, that is transcribed into an RNA molecule. Transcription is a key step in using information from a gene to make a protein. However, gene expression is when a gene in DNA is turned on, that is, used to make the protein it specifies. Not all the genes in our body are turned on at the same time, or in the same cells or parts of the body. All cells contain the same genetic material, yet they get differentiated structurally and functionally from one another. These differences are attributed to the different set of proteins present in them and are differences in the quantity of proteins they produce. It should be noted here that most of the proteins are same in all the cells. It is the difference in relatively few types of proteins that lead to differentiation. These differences in the quality or quantity of proteins present in cells are achieved by regulation of gene expression, a process commonly called as gene regulation. Thus, cells differ from one another not due to the differences at the genetic level, but instead due to the differences in the expression of some genes in different cells. Such changes in expression or differential gene expression among cells are most often regulated at the level of transcription. There are three broad levels of regulating gene expression. Number 1 is transcriptional control, whether and how much a gene is transcribed into mRNA. Number 2 is translational control, whether and how much an mRNA is translated into protein. Number 3 is post-translational control, whether the protein is in an active or inactive form and whether the protein is stable or degraded. Based on our shared evolutionary origin, there are many similarities in the ways that prokaryotes and eukaryotes regulate gene expression. However, there are also many differences. All three domains of life use positive regulation, turning on gene expression, negative regulation, turning off gene expression, and co-regulation, that is turning multiple genes on or off together to control gene expression. But there are some differences in the specifics of how these jobs are carried out between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now let us try to understand negative control of transcription or repression. The pioneering studies of gene regulation in E. coli were carried out by Francois Jacob and Jacques Menard in the 1950s. These investigators and their colleagues analyzed the expression of enzymes involved in the metabolism of lactose, which can be used as a source of carbon and energy through cleavage to glucose and galactose. The enzyme that catalyzes the cleavage of lactose, that is alpha-galactosidase, and other enzymes involved in lactose metabolism are expressed only when lactose is available for use by the bacteria. Otherwise, the cell is able to economize by not investing energy in the synthesis of unnecessary RNAs and proteins. Thus, lactose induces the synthesis of enzymes involved in its own metabolism. In addition to requiring beta-galactosidase, lactose metabolism involves the products of two other closely linked genes, lactose permease, which transports lactose into the cell, and a transacetylases whose function in the lactose metabolism is still unknown. On the basis of purely genetic experiments, Jacob and Monod deduced the mechanism by which the expression of these genes was regulated, thereby formulating a model that remains fundamental to our understanding of transcriptional regulation. The starting point in this analysis was the isolation of mutants that were defective in regulation of the genes involved in lactose utilization. These mutants were of two types: constitutive mutants, which expressed all three genes even when lactose was not available, and non-inducible mutants, which failed to express the genes even in the presence of lactose. Moving on, let us discuss positive control of transcription. The best studied example of positive control in E. coli is the effect of glucose on the expression of the genes that encode enzymes involved in the breakdown, that is catabolism, of other sugars, including lactose, that provide alternative sources of carbon and energy. Glucose is preferentially utilized. So as long as glucose is available, enzymes involved in catabolism of alternative energy sources are not expressed. For example, if E. coli are grown in medium containing both glucose and lactose, the lac operon is not induced and only glucose is used by the bacteria. Thus, glucose represses the lac operon even in the presence of normal inducer, that is lactose. Glucose repression, that is generally called as catabolite repression, is now known to be mediated by a positive control system which is coupled to levels of cyclic AMP, cAMP. In bacteria, the enzyme adenylyl cyclase, which converts ATP to cAMP, is regulated such that levels of cAMP increases when glucose levels drop. cAMP then binds to a transcriptional regulatory protein called catabolite activator protein, CAP. The binding of cAMP stimulates the binding of CAP to its target DNA sequences, which in the lac operon are located approximately 60 bases upstream of the transcription start site. CAP then interact with the alpha subunit of the RNA polymerase, facilitating the binding of polymerase to the promoter and activating transcription. Moving on to transcriptional attenuation. Both the positive and negative control mechanisms that we have discussed act at the level of initiation of transcription. An additional mechanism, transcriptional attenuation, regulates the expression of some genes by controlling the ability of RNA polymerase to continue elongation past specific sites. This mode of regulation has been described best in the E. coli tryptophan operon, which encodes 5 enzymes involved in biosynthesis of the amino acid tryptophan. These genes are expressed only when tryptophan is not available to the cell in its environment, since otherwise the synthesis of additional tryptophan is unnecessary. The tryptophan operon is regulated in part by a repressor that, when bound to the tryptophan, blocks transcription. However, transcriptional attenuation provides an additional level of control that results in more stringent regulation that could be achieved by repression of initiation alone. The site of attenuation is located 162 nucleotides downstream of the transcription start site. If tryptophan is abandoned, most transcription terminates at this site. Only if tryptophan is scarce does transcriptional continue to yield functional tryptophan mRNA. The mechanism of attenuation depends on the fact that translation in bacteria is coupled with transcription. So ribosomes being translating the 5' end of an mRNA while it is still being synthesized. Thus, the rate of translation can affect the structure of growing RNA chain, which in turn determines whether further transcription can continue. Transcription termination is signaled by a stem loop structure that forms by complementary base pairing between two specific sequences of the growing tryptophan mRNA chain. This structure forms if translation of the growing chain is proceeding at a normal rate, as it does when tryptophan is present in adequate supply. If tryptophan is scarce, however, protein synthesis stalls at a critical region of the message. If this occurs, the ribosomes bound to the mRNA block formation of the transcription terminating stem loop, allowing tryptophan mRNA synthesis to continue. Now let us try to learn about another important subtopic, that is concept of an operon. In prokaryotes, genes are often clustered together, separated only by a few base pairs, and put under the control of a single promoter and other regulatory elements. Such a set of genes that are co-regulated with its regulatory machinery forms an operon. The genes are co-transcribed into a polycistronic mRNA, which refers to the messenger RNA containing transcripts of two or more neighboring cistrons, that is, segments of the DNA that code for a polypeptide gene. In other words, polycistronic mRNA is an mRNA that codes for more than one polypeptide chain, that is, as against monocistronic mRNA that contains transcript of a single coding region and codes for a single polypeptide. Often the genes clustered in an operon are related structurally or functionally. Moving on to the components of an operon. An operon is composed of two DNA elements, the regulatory sequences such as promoter and operator, and a set of genes that are co-regulated. The genes are called as structural genes. The promoter is a DNA sequence laying upstream to the structural genes to which RNA polymerase and gene transcription factors in eukaryotes bind to initiate the process of transcription. Operator is a DNA sequence usually laying between the promoter, that is sometimes even overlapping with the promoter sequence and the structural genes. It regulates the transcription of the structural gene by binding of activator or repressor proteins. Generally, the term operator is used for the DNA sequence to which activated repressor can bind and prevent transcription of the structural genes by physically preventing the binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter or by any other mechanism. The DNA sequence where activator proteins can bind to initiate or activate transcription of the structural genes is termed activator binding sequence. Regulation of an operon, that is expression of the structural gene, is thus brought about by two elements, that is cis-acting DNA sequence, promoter and operator activator binding sequences which form a part of the operon, and trans-acting protein molecules, that is activators or repressors that bind to the cis-acting sites. Activators or repressors are coded by regulatory genes that may lie near or far off from the operon and do not structurally form a part of it. Moving on in today's topic, let us now discuss regulation of the LAC operon, that is dual control, repression and promotion. The best example of genetic control is the well-studied system of milk sugar, that is lactose, inducible catabolism in the human symbiote E. coli. The LAC operon includes three structural genes, LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A, that are transcribed in unison. LAC-I gene is located near the LAC operon. It regulates the operon by producing the LAC repressor protein. Both the regulatory gene and the LAC operon itself contain promoter PL and PLAC at which RNA polymerase binds, and terminators at which transcription halts. PLAC overlaps with the operator site O to which the active form of the repressor protein binds. The operon is transcribed into a single long molecule of mRNA that codes for all three polypeptides. Transcription of the LAC operon is downregulated through the binding of the LAC repressor to the operator. In the absence of lactose, the repressor remains bound to the operator and preventing access of the RNA polymerase to the promoter. transcription is blocked and the operon is repressed. In the presence of lactose, the repressor is inactivated form and does not bind to the operator. Thus, the RNA polymerase may bind to the promoter and transcribe the structural genes into a single cistronic mRNA. The isomeric form of lactose that binds to the repressor is allolactose. The LAC repressor is an allosteric protein capable of reversible conversion between two alternative forms. In the absence of effector allolactose, the protein is in the form that binds to the LAC operator. In the effector's presence, the repressor mostly exists in the alternative and inactive state. Transcription of the LAC operon is upregulated through the binding of the CAMP receptor protein CRP complex to the promoter. The CAMP receptor protein, that is CRP, is an allosteric protein that is inactive in the free form but is activated by the binding to CAMP. The CRP-CAMP complex binds the promoter of the inducible operons, increasing the affinity of the promoter for RNA polymerase to stimulate transcription. The effects of active CRP on the LAC operon are as: the CRP-CAMP complex binds to the CRP recognition site near the promoter region, making the promoter more readily bound by RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase binds to the promoter and transcribes the operon. Now let us move to negative regulation or repression of the LAC operon. E. coli do not need lactose metabolizing enzymes in the absence of lactose. Even when lactose is present along with glucose, the preferred energy source, lactose utilizing enzymes, are not needed and the bacteria do not engage in producing them. This implies that under normal conditions, lactose absent or present along with glucose. The LAC operon is regulated to abolish the transcription of LAC genes. Default state of the operon is off. This state is achieved by the working of a repressor protein. LAC repressor that binds to the operator region that is overlapping the LAC promoter and therefore obstructs the binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter, resulting in no transcription of the structural genes. When the lactose is the only sugar present or when glucose is exhausted, the lactose is available, the operon turns on, leading to the transcription of the structural genes and the production of lactose catabolizing enzymes. This is achieved by the action of an isomer of lactose, that is allolactose, formed from lactose by low amount of beta-galactosidase enzyme already present in the cell. Next is feedback control. When enzymes encoded by the LAC operon are no more needed by the cell, beta-galactosidase itself shuts down the synthesis of LAC mRNA. Activity of beta-galactosidase results in the breakdown of lactose and allolactose, causing the repressor to be released that then binds to the operator and stops the additional synthesis of LAC mRNA. LAC mRNA breaks down after a relatively short time. Next is positive regulation. The LAC operon has an additional positive regulatory control system. When lactose is the sole carbon source, then synthesis of the lactose utilizing enzyme is very much increased. That is high level of transcription. In positively regulated operons, the regulatory proteins increase transcription. This increase in the LAC operon is achieved by the action of catabolite activator protein, that is CAP, also called as CAMP receptor protein CRP. The CRP-CAMP complex binds to the CRP or CAP binding site, that is activator binding site on the LAC promoter, activating transcription from the promoter. Moving on to another important section of today's topic, that is prokaryotic gene regulation, the tryptophan operon, a riboswitch. Now let us discuss first structure of the tryptophan operon. The tryptophan operon includes 5 structural genes: TRPE, TRPD, TRPC, TRPB and TRPA, as well as promoter pTRP, operator O and leader L sequences. The genes TRPE and TRPD code for 2 subunits of the enzyme anthranilite synthase, which catalyzes the first reaction of the tryptophan anabolic pathway. The gene TRPC codes for indole 3 glycerophosphate synthase that catalyzes the next two steps. The genes TRB and TRPA codes for two subunits of the enzyme tryptophan synthase that catalyze the final steps of the tryptophan synthesis pathway. The cis regulatory component is the operator region O that overlaps with the tryptophan promoter P region, laying upstream to the TRPE gene. Unlike the LAC operon, the gene coding for the repressor TRPR is located far apart in the E. coli genome. Between the operator region and TRPE gene lays another element, the attenuator. Precisely, the region is at the end of a transcriber leader sequence TRPL that codes for a non-functional small 14 amino acid leader polypeptide. The attenuator is a row independent terminator site with a short GC rich palindrome followed by 8 successive uridine residues. The attenuator exerts a second level of regulation termed attenuation on the tryptophan operon. The polycistronic mRNA encodes for the enzymes of the tryptophan biosynthetic pathway. When complexed with tryptophan, the repressor is active and binds tightly to the operator, blocking access of RNA polymerase to the promoter and keeping the operon repressed. Now let us discuss regulation at steps after transcription initiation, the tryptophan operon. Tryptophan is a non-essential amino acid for E. coli. That is, they can manufacture it themselves, as against humans for whom it is essential as they cannot synthesize tryptophan and have to acquire it through diet. The bacteria thus contain genes that produce enzymes which are necessary for production of its own tryptophan. The genes that code for the enzymes of the tryptophan biosynthetic pathway in E. coli are assembled in an operon, the tryptophan operon. Now let us discuss the regulatory proteins of the tryptophan operon. TRPR is the repressor protein that negatively regulates the tryptophan operon. It is a small 108 amino acid long 25 kilodalton protein that belongs to the helix-turn helix, that is HTH family. It works as a dimer of two identical 6 helical subunits. The consensus sequence for tryptophan R binding is two symmetrically arranged half sites separated by a spacer of 8 base pairs. The repressor by itself cannot bind to the operator. Binding of two molecules of tryptophan act as a co-repressor to TRPR aporepressor dimer, stabilizing the HTH and alters the orientation of the HTH such that TRPR can then fit into the successive major grooves of the DNA. Now moving on to the regulation of the tryptophan operon. It involves negative regulation. One of the mechanisms by which the tryptophan is regulated is transcriptional end product repression. It involves the production of the TRPR genes, that is TRPR repressor. Unlike LAC-R, which is active when formed, TRPR as the way it is cannot bind to the operator region of the operon. When there is insufficient tryptophan, TRPR cannot bind to the operator and thus the transcription of the structural genes proceeds, leading to the formation of enzymes involved in synthesizing tryptophan, that is default state is on. As the concentration of tryptophan rises, binding of tryptophan to tryptophan R brings about conformational change in the repressor, increasing its affinity for the operator region. This blocks the transcription of the TRP, ED, CBA genes. Thus, tryptophan, the end product of the enzymes encoded by the tryptophan operon, inhibits its own synthesis. The TRP operon is thus a negatively controlled repressible system. As in the LAC operon, in the negatively regulated tryptophan operon, the regulatory protein, in this case TRP repressor, prevents transcription. Now let us discuss attenuation of the tryptophan operon. A second level of regulation by premature transcription termination, a process termed attenuation, is placed on the tryptophan operon and many other amino acid biosynthetic operons. The tryptophan repressor in the presence of tryptophan decreases the expression of tryptophan genes by around 70-fold. Attenuation provides a 10-fold decrease in the expression of these genes. Combined, the two processes in the presence of tryptophan provide 700-fold repression. Attenuation thus provides a fast and sensitive regulation of the specific operons. The key to attenuation lies in understanding the viable stem loop structures that can form in the leader mRNA, tryptophan L mRNA. TRPL mRNA contains 4 regions of the complementary sequence that can form stem loop secondary RNA structures. That's all about today's lecture. Hope you have understood it well. Thank you very much and goodbye.